Hey folks, welcome back to the Rebel's Edge. In today's episode, Walmart crushes earnings as it lures classy customers to their discount deals. The Oracle of Omaha moves Chubb to the top of the charts, and Netflix continues their market dominance as all three of your favorite market rebellion personalities are coming to you live from Cardone Enterprises in Aventura, Florida.
He crushed it.
He did.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of cold openings, but I got to tell you something. That was damn good. Holy smokes.
It was like a hot opening.
Tell you what, it really was.
Yeah, they serve good coffee here.
Damn good coffee. Cardone Industries, let me tell you.
They're ready to go.
There you go, Cardone. Folks, we were down here filming some very interesting videos with Grant himself, Grant Cardone, and you'll be seeing those soon. We're certainly delighted to still be here after 2 days. They haven't kicked us out yet, Mark.
They will. It's just a matter of when.
It's a matter of time. But thank you for joining us. Obviously, Marc LoPresti, my brother Pete Najarian, and I are here to bring you the Rebel's Edge. And today we're going to talk macro at the top, as we always do. And Mark, we did trade over 40,000 in the Dow, so that's a pretty good sign, isn't it?
Yeah, we did. We know that because we saw them breaking out the baseball hats.
Sure, why not?
I want to find out who makes those baseball hats because that's a stock that we should buy. They started passing the baseball hats out on the floor of the New York this morning, the Dow off of that level. But yeah, does this milestone even matter, though, given everything else that's going on?
Well, as most people would tell us anyway, that are market watchers, the Dow doesn't really matter.
Right.
The Dow, it's an index of 30 stocks. They're not cap weighted. So that's considerably different than the NASDAQ and the S&P, for that matter, for the Russell 2000.
Right.
So I'm going to say it doesn't, except that it'll be probably in every headline tomorrow, Mark, in the business section.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason it matters for the people that still talk about, oh, where is the Dow?
My quick answer is this. 40,000 is meaningless, but it's fun to put on a cap. 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, sure, why not? But I think that the reality is exactly what you just said. The S&P 500 matters. 30 stocks that we just kind of revolve around once in a while and flip this one out and this one in and everything. Nah. 30 stocks doesn't make it.
It's almost as irrelevant as the Fed's 2% inflation target.
Right. Why are they doing that? Why did they pick 2?
Yeah.
I could have said 2.5.
Our friend Charles Payne did a great job responding to Cory Booker, I thought, today, folks, because Cory Booker, senator from New Jersey, was trying to say, well, yeah, it's down 60% from the high. And he says, it's down. Well, technically, it is down from the high. He is right about that. But where there's lies, damn lies, and statistics, Mark, to quote Yogi Berra,
well said.
I think the problem is that it's still 80% Cory Booker, 80% higher than the Fed's target. And it's still up. It's up 3.6%. So even if it was down to 2, it would still be up 2. So these aren't going down; these are going higher, lower left to upper right.
I don't want to quote the great Chevy Chase from an old SNL episode, but I was told there was no math on today's show, and you got to be careful. They're not going to let me back in New Jersey if we keep bashing Cory. So I'm concerned about that.
Yeah, Senator Booker, we're sorry.
Work on the skills, though.
So fantastic futures today, folks. Fantastic futures. We're going to give a nod to our friends at the CME because their stock price is being influenced at least a little. They've had Bitcoin futures. They were the first U.S. exchange to have them. Now they're not just talking about futures, Mark. They're talking about plans to launch Bitcoin trading, which would be huge, wouldn't it?
Huge.
Yeah, you got to think that folks like Coinbase and others might be a little bit concerned about that. You think they got a shot at grabbing some of that market share? If they
I do think so. I think when you swing that mallet and you're the CME, I think you've got an opportunity to really open something up. I'm going to just say this, too, on top of that, John. How about the fact that volatility is back in the 12s? The 12s. Yeah. I mean, we are at the lowest levels of the year. So It says a lot about where we are in the market. That 40,000 number we all kind of dish to the side, but that doesn't mean that we haven't had a monster year in the NASDAQ, a monster year already in the S&P. And I think when you look at volatility down here this low, that's a statement.
Yep. Well, how about this statement? Walmart.
Yeah.
Walmart, folks, came out with their earnings, and they have crushed it, basically, with the earnings, with their guidance, and with the online sales. And we talk about, bricks and mortar versus the e-commerce side, Mark, but e-commerce growing at the level it's growing at for Walmart is a big deal.
Well, I liked everything in this earnings report, of course, and this, folks, is consistent with what we've been saying in terms of the trajectory of the American consumer as people try to continue to stretch their dollar further. Credit card levels again this morning, by the way, crossing another historical $1.32 trillion threshold. Delinquencies on the rise, but nothing to see here. But the thing I like the most about this earnings call from Walmart is it seems like the Birkin set is now coming to Walmart, as I teased in the cold open, looking for those discount deals in aisle 5. If they're able to expand their market share to the higher income demographic, they're going to be even more unstoppable than they have been. I still like this name.
They're sticky with that higher group.
Right.
And it's been unbelievable. And I think a lot of people thought, well, this is only because of the fact that the pandemic. People are going there and now they're going to leave and they're going to go back somewhere else. No, they're not. Inflation's real. Walmart's still that discounter, and people like it. And they're going there. The e-commerce is unbelievable, as you were just saying, John. So when you look at this, there's a good reason why this stock is sitting at 52-week highs.
Yep.
For all the right reasons. They are crushing it. They're beating it. And I'm going to aisle 5 for those little things on my feet if I can.
The sales were up between 21 and 24%, depending U.S. and or globally. That's a huge number.
Yeah.
But I'll be right there with Mark on this. The fact that Walmart is selling more, that means obviously dollars in the door. Great. I don't think the customers paying these higher prices are all that enthused about it.
No.
And that's why one of the reasons why many of them are there. Not that hoi polloi set, but the rest of them.
The 24% year over year is a massive.
That's a massive number.
Yeah,
massive.
When you're the world's largest retailer already,
Yep,
that's right.
It's a massive number. All right, so how about this? Oracle of Omaha, he kept it secret for as long as he could, but then finally he had to declare that Chubb, CB is the symbol for Chubb, folks, was the stock that he had been buying with a lot of that nearly $190 billion in cash that he had. And he only spent about 3% of that, Mark. He is buying about $6.7 billion worth of Chubb. Now, is there anybody that knows insurance better than Warren Buffett?
No.
Probably not, because of Geico and so forth, General Re. I mean, this guy knows insurance. And by the way, I own some properties out in Boulder, Colorado. My insurance for those properties went up 400%. So just like when we were taping here with Grant an hour ago or so, Pete, I should have been buying Chubb aggressively based on that alone, because the prices are going up, up, up for insurance, and Chubb is premium insurance.
Yeah, and Grant even talked about that he kind of saw those canaries in the coal mine as the insurance premiums on some of his properties, commercial and multifamily, went up. You've also seen, and this is something that was covered 2 inflation prints ago, just a few weeks back, car insurance having gone up something like 25% quarter over quarter. So another great move from the Oracle of Omaha.
The Oracle did a nice job. 26 million shares is what he bought. I mean, absolutely incredible. And let's just remember, we should all fight this by owning Chubb, owning some of these names ourselves, because when you think about it, they're only going to go higher, guys. I don't see this all of a sudden they're going to say, hey, you know what, we're going to do you a big favor. We're going to cut your insurance costs. I don't see that coming. And I live in Florida, where just about every side of the insurance side of it is pretty ugly. And Grant was talking about it. I agree with him. I mean, this is not over. And I think you need to own something to be able to kind of defense the fact that you have to pay so much right now.
Right? Totally agree. Well, then we've got Deere, John Deere.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you, Pete, have a relationship with a former CEO, is
Yep.
of John Deere,
Yep.
DE. Well, they opened up, Mark, and then they sold off quickly. So world's largest manufacturer of agricultural equipment, but it's not just ag. They do a lot with road work and things like that. So just one of the largest manufacturers in the world. And they warned that net income for the year is going to be lower than the street was looking for. And that's one of the reasons I think that they're continuing to sell it throughout the session.
This is clearly a sell-off on guidance story. And in conjunction with anticipated decreased demand from farmers, right? Buying equipment, of course, higher cost of capital, interest rates, it translates down to the farmers in the ag section as well. But they also said in this earnings report, Pete, on anticipated falling crop prices. That seems to be disinflationary. I was scratching my head a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm wondering how that all adds up and how that's all pieced together. I would say this. It's something where when we see some sort of a turn, if we can start to see some sort of a turn in the positive for Deere, I think then looking at where it's trading right now and looking at the PE value of where it is, it's pretty inexpensive, guys.
Yeah.
But it's inexpensive probably for the right reasons because they're facing a lot of issues right now. Those issues start to go away to some degree. I think then would be the time to maybe pounce. But right now, this would be a no touch for me.
Yeah.
I mean, revenue or sales were down 12% or more.
Yeah.
So when that happens, even before you get to the guidance, people are going to be thinking that maybe farmers are a little stretched.
They are stretched.
And they're not going to be able to buy as much. All right, Netflix. Big news overnight. Bloomberg broke the story, I think. They have signed a deal with the NFL.
Yep.
We're going to talk about that in Pete's Red Zone Sports in a minute.
Sure.
But in addition to that, they told advertisers that the total ad-supported revenue over at Netflix is now north of $40 million. Now, this is a sign, Mark. You yesterday were talking about European retailers not doing as well, consumers pulling back. If consumers in the United States and elsewhere are opting for an ad-supported Netflix as opposed to the more expensive premium Netflix without ads, I'm thinking that's also showing us that the consumer is pulling back on some of these streaming services.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's an area that I think people have always struggled with. You know, I've got Hulu, I've got Netflix, I've got Disney Plus, I've got ESPN, I've got and I don't know how much overlap there is. I don't even know where to get something. And then when I want to go and see my old Miami Vice episodes, they were all telling me, and it's one of my, that's one of my favorites. We are here in the Miami area.
He's got the shoes on right now.
I do have that. Let's not, that's for another show, folks. Maybe we'll talk to our producers about that. But when you go and find a show you want to watch, they say, oh, you can rent it. And you're like, rent it? WTF, I'm paying $30 here for it. So consolidation in the streaming wars. Look, I was a Netflix bear a year and change ago. I turned Netflix bull on Liz Clayman's show at some point in time, Q2 of last year. And man, have I been a bull ever since. These guys are absolutely crushing it. 40 million MAUs, right, which is the big metric in the stream, is almost as important as EPS and any other traditional metric. Monthly active users, and that's 40 million in that ad-supported tier. That's 40 million people that have said, I'll watch 30 seconds of a Levitra or whatever commercial it is, because it's always pharma. I don't know why.
It is pharma.
Or maybe they're just advertising to me because they think I'm getting old. That's a whole other conversation. But that said, I will watch that and save $8 or $9. The question I have, Pete, can Netflix maintain this level of growth and keep the street happy?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Wow.
And I think they have the power because of what they're able to do, including live sports, like John was just teasing about as well. So when you look at that and that 40 million of the MAUs, that's double what it was. So this is something at the start of the year. That's just the start of the year. So imagine that. I mean, this is absolutely incredible what they're able to do, and they are the one who stands out. And I still point the finger. We talked about this, about Disney buying Netflix years ago. Years ago. At the time, I think Netflix was trading $65 a share. It's a long ways from there. And that would have been, should have been. We did talk about it. It's not like we're just coming back later saying, oh, yeah, they should have done that. We said that at the time that they should have done that. And that was a huge mistake by Disney.
Yeah. And now, Pete, Netflix is $280 billion and Disney's $165 billion.
Maybe they buy Disney.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Netflix, you want an amusement park? Maybe a sports channel?
A couple of ships and a couple other things. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, some Disney ships. All right. Well, at this point in the show, we either do a little something about the Tom Brady roast, which is one of Pete's favorite topics.
Oh,
lately.
man.
By the way, let me ask each of you, would you, Pete, allow yourself to be roasted on Netflix the way Tom Brady did?
You know what? I think looking ahead, and Tom Brady always is looking ahead. So I'm sort of puzzled that he even did it, because we all know we got skeletons, but Tom Brady has certain skeletons that he didn't really want shaken up. Mm-hmm. And they certainly did, and the comedians did their job. That's what you do. It's called a roast for a reason. They're going to roast you.
Yeah.
But,
after the man of the year.
And afterwards, he finds out, well, geez, this didn't go over so well with my kids. Really, Tom? I mean, I love you to death, but really? You didn't see this coming? I mean, you left the one gal who was pregnant and all the rest of these things, and I'm not trying to be harsh on him. I'm just saying, if you know that, you know your history yourself, you know they're going to dig up, and that's the stuff they're going to go after. So from that perspective, and my answer would be, not a chance in hell would I do that.
How about you? Would you submit to the roast?
Listen, I see what they did to Flavor Flav, John, and I'm still trying to get over it. And so I think the only way, if somebody else asked me this question recently, if I'd allow myself to be roasted, is if I could choose my roast master. So if it was one of you guys and maybe one other individual, you know who you are, by the way. We're not going to give you a shameless plug, Michael.
Might be a very big broker at
could be. But otherwise, no, hell no, and F no.
Yeah. This is exactly why a lot of people don't want to run for president or senator or anything else, because they're going to dig up all that dirt. And it's even worse for those guys than it was for Tom Brady, except nobody watches those things. And everybody watched the Brady roast, which was, again, good for Netflix. And another reason that when we dive into Pete's Red Zone Sports, we're going to say, hey, for two games, Kansas City and Pittsburgh, and I think it's the Ravens and the Texans. For two games on Christmas Day, they're paying $150 million. And the only place that you can watch that, I got to correct myself, because if you buy that full NFL package through Google or YouTube, I think you'd get this game, but I'm not sure. I know that Netflix, though, owns this game for $150 million. Is that too much, or is that the right number?
I actually think it's the right number. I think this is going to be something that's really, really big for Netflix. I mean, when you look at the fact that this is live, and we talk about live sports all the time being so important, and I think when you have that exclusivity for the most part, it is something going to be really special. I think it's going to add more people into this whole world. Are they going to do the ad support? Sure they are. They don't care. And that's all going to help. I think this is going to be an absolute crushing of everything when it comes to what Netflix is able to pull dollar-wise away from this whole thing.
Yeah, I totally agree. But this is also a story about the sports industry. And we've talked about this a fair amount on the sports segment of the show. Goldman Sachs announcing at the beginning of the year this year that they had started and dedicated an entire new division in their wealth management and in their M&A just to sports, right? Yeah. Sports franchises. Why? It's the same story. The only way nowadays that you can get people to watch something live and know when they're going to have their eyes glued to the screen are live sports and, to a lesser extent, perhaps live financial news. Not shameless plug for us. But that's also why the value of these sports franchises, as crazy as they are right now, the trajectory is just parabolic. Yep. You look at Formula One teams, they're $1 billion plus in valuation. MLB, basketball, hockey, you see interest in minor leagues now as well. It's all about capturing those live eyeballs.
Yep. Yeah, and our friend Stingray Rob with his IndyCar team. Stingray Rob. Let me say this too, guys, by the way. Somebody did a calculation, back of the envelope calculation. I know you said no math today, Mark.
Oh, damn it.
Chevy Chase and Mark. I heard there'd be no math.
You ignorant? Nah, I won't go there.
Hey, I know where that's going.
$850 is what it would cost you to be able to watch every NFL game, because some are on Peacock and only on Peacock. Right. Yeah. Some are on Amazon Prime. Some are on Netflix now. And then the rest, ESPN Plus, CBS, NBC. Fox, my gosh, Fox. It's $850 is what the average person would pay if they truly wanted to see every game. And given the betting angle on this, Mark, I think most people are going to subscribe if they're going to bet.
I'll bet you a straw buck right now. This is not. We're not doing legalized online gambling here. But I will bet you that most people are already spending. If you added up all your damn subscriptions, you're spending that much a year in all your subs.
And nobody knows it. Nobody knows it. They have to relook at everything, and they have to go back and say, "Hey, go through that credit card bill and start figuring this out." And they will. Because at some point this is going to hurt, I think, and it is a lot. But for right now, that and the roast and everything else. I mean, did you see the numbers on the roast as far as that goes?
No.
By the way, I think it was it 13 or 14.9 million?
No, stop.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, for the Tom Brady roast. That's a number.
You got to question if it was somebody other than Brady, if it would have pulled those numbers.
No,
I bet the answer's no.
Yeah, Tom Brady is a special guy in the world of sports right now. Still, even though he's walked away, but I don't see anybody else getting that. If it was LeBron, they might get about 500 people, maybe something like that.
500 people, and probably 475 of them would be haters. Would be saying, "What's with this load management, LeBron?" Well, is that it for our sports
I think
today,
that's
then,
it. I
Pete?
think we got
Mark?
a good.
All right, folks, we appreciate you joining us. The Rebels Edge is on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We're delighted to be coming to you from our newest partner, Grant Cardone, and the team here at Cardone Ventures. It's so great to be in their studios. A lot more coming your way, and we really look forward to you joining us Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Bang!